Hey, today I'll be giving a bit of a status update on my project Lang and also getting into my current kind of process around making Vietnamese accents. I know I've made another video on this recently-ish for me, and I'm kind of making another one to say that I think I've found a slightly better approach. The summary is I previously made effort to make sure all my accents could stack well and create Vietnamese accents. So my family recursive, for instance, does that. But I found since then, like looking at SF by Apple and Roboto for Google, that a lot of the time families like that actually have just specific Vietnamese stacked accents as separate things, and they're not using multiple components. They're just like drawn from scratch a little bit. And I've tried that, and indeed, that's really helpful in kind of making things look right and to be as compact as possible while looking right. So I've actually done that in the italics here, and today I'll be doing it in the Roman and kind of talking through the process. Also, you might notice that I'm currently working in glyphs. I've been going a lot back and forth between Robofont and glyphs lately. I'm trying to really understand and get good with both and understand the positives and negatives of both programs. There's a lot I love about both of these font editors. Getting more used to glyphs, it's pretty nice. I feel maybe a little bit guilty or something for how much I'm enjoying it. The reason I'm actually using glyphs right now specifically for Lang is that I want to put out an update quite soon, and I'm testing out the Kern-on extension to help auto-kern this while it's a work in progress. Kern-on is great and not great at the same time. Suffice to say, it's really good in many ways, but it doesn't leave you with a clear sense of control or understanding of what the kerning is doing. And so there's always that thing in the back of your mind, like, sure, most things look good, but what if something is wacky or missed or like, ultimately you can proof that, but like sometimes, I don't know. I think in the end for retail fonts, manual kerning still has the edge. Um, and then for like shorter projects or kind of experimental projects and things, auto kerning has a lot of potential to be super helpful. So anyway, what is Lang if you're kind of new to this? It is a family that is initially inspired by a gravestone which has carvings I really love. So like let's type something out and kind of show Lang is a font. There it is here, and then let's do that in the italic. I know that you can have italic and Roman in the same glyphs file, but I have a lot of extra characters in the italic actually for swash caps, and I don't think that swash caps have as much utility in a Roman. So I'm making the call to, instead of making twice as many swash caps by doing it Roman and italic, I want to make twice as many swash caps in the italic. So I've got a lot here. All of the accented characters for both like basic Western European, Central European, and Vietnamese. Pretty much where the design works, they all have swash caps. So this offers some pretty cool stuff. Let's, I don't know. So swash caps. And I think I can, let's see. What? I think there's a way to view features over here, but maybe something's broken? I know there is. This is what I mean that I'm a little bit getting familiar with Do I have to update features or something? Uppercase. I see. Interesting. I think, okay, maybe that'll work. What? CCMP. I prefer writing features on their own, sort of, but to make Kern on work properly, you've got to do all of your features in the glyphs file itself. That's too bad, though, if I can't show the swash caps really well. Super annoying. Well, that's not what this video is about. Anyhow, there's a lot of swash caps. And the idea is that where the design works, like a lot of them have initial and medial forms. So like the A is actually a really good example. And these exist in two masters, which are interpolatable. So for instance, this system of swash caps is variable. Actually, a better place to show that is font goggles. Let's see if I can. All right, I can just do it. I built a kind of test version of this last night. Hello, YouTube. And I can turn on the swash feature. Everything gets swashy. And it's variable. So I think it's coming along really nicely. This is the typical YouTuber thing, right? Yeah. So, yeah, I'm excited about this family. Anyhow, let's get to the main part of this video. Let's check out the Vietnamese. And Vietnamese has a lot of these double stacked accents for characters. So these seem kind of intimidating at first, but once you kind of figure out what you need to do and do it a few times, it's not that bad. And a website that has been very helpful for me is Vietnamese typography. This is by Donnie Truong, and it's a really nice website that is sort of a book on Vietnamese as a language and as a set of characters. He goes through and explains the whole alphabet and the diacritics. And then something that's really great too is that this has a bunch of type recommendations. And all of these recommendations show all of the added characters that support Vietnamese beyond the basic English alphabet. So the really neat thing about this too is that it kind of gives you several reference points, like quite a good number of reference points for how these might look, and how much flexibility you kind of have in making these marks in a way that Donnie kind of gives his stamp of approval to as a Vietnamese reader and writer. And yeah, so he's also looked at a couple of my typefaces and given me feedback, which is a really neat service that he does for a very affordable price. So, you know, that is something that makes this whole thing really cool. Personally, one of the decisions I make a lot is that you can put the acute and grave to the top or to slightly to the right and the hook of the oh my gosh, the circumflex, this little triangle, and different fonts do it in a different way. So a lot of them kind of do stack it above. It kind of varies. I think it's nice to keep it compact, and it seems like the better well, I don't want to say better fonts, but like the fonts made by people I'm a big fan of, like David Jonathan Ross, do it kind of up and to the right. And it does seem logical if you were writing that you might do that as well to kind of keep things compact, and writing tends to flow left to right. So I think it just looks more kind of elegant that way, even though at first it seems a lot simpler to just do it like up and down. And actually, I guess a lot of these do it that way. So, clearly I'm not, oh, hey, this is a beautiful font. Wonder who made that. Yeah, so a lot of these take that step, and Donnie's influence is probably showing there too. I think if I'm remembering correctly, he kind of recommends that if you go ahead and ask him how to do it. But it's also like technically, allowable and correct to stack it. So different people handle it different ways. But yeah, so the other thing that, yeah, I've been working on is much of the time I will decompose either both or at least one of these marks to kind of arrange it in a way that I like and that feels balanced and even. And for instance, I move this mark. So usually it kind of like goes up to the cap height, but I think that in the Vietnamese, the kind of rhythm and spacing of kind of the between the accents and the main base glyph here is better if this is moved down slightly. And in the black master, then it's like not as important to move it down because it already comes further down and the X height is taller. So in this case, I've just kind of made sure to squish this down. So if we compare it against like well, maybe it, well, okay. It matches basically the case variant of the acute in the blackest master style, the blackest source, and here I think it's slightly taller than the case style. Yeah. And then I've also made a case set of these. So let me hunt those down. I guess I could search for it here. Do I have... Okay, here's my case accents that are doubled. This actually, I don't think is... I think that's for something else, not Vietnamese. But I do think it's used in some language or another. I think I got it from the Google Fonts Latin Plus glyph set or something like that. But yeah, so you can see that for the case accents, these double stacked, I have gone ahead and drawn them quite specifically, at least parts of them quite specifically, to look nice and aligned and as compact as they can be, but also staying in a way that I think looks pretty elegant. And one thing I've actually done here is kind of given this reverse contrast. I think I've also done that in the normal case tilde. That's pretty weird in a way. Normally that is not done for the tilde, and the lowercase tilde has a kind of standard contrast, but because I am making these uppercase accents so compact, because I really see this as like a display family, and in a display font you tend to want to have really probably like compact line heights. So this is kind of the solution that I think works well. The tilde was getting very light when it was a normal contrast, but also this short. So as kind of an inventive solution, I made it a reverse contrast and then brought that over into the Vietnamese. And I see here, I haven't yet done it here, so I will do that. One thing I'm kind of okay. One thing I'm kind of a fan of in glyphs is that it's so easy to like make a quick little copy. And yeah, I also use Git, but this is pretty nice. Oops. Here we are. It's nice in that it's like really easy to go back to it if you want to. Okay, so that is pretty solid. I've been making a couple of very simple scripts to like add a centered guide and such. And I find those useful for drawing accents. I'll probably share those at some point. If you want it immediately, I'm happy to share what I've done so far, but I literally only have like, 2 or 3 scripts here, so 4, I guess. There's probably already other glyph scripts to do the same stuff as well. All right, so the thing I haven't yet done is improve the case accents a lot in the Latin, the Roman. They're still kind of just using the separate case accents. And so if we compare these things, like especially in the boldest style, basically like it becomes especially evident, for instance, in this. Here I've lined it up much more nicely. So it looks like one thing. And then in these, I've put them off to the side. I haven't yet done that here. So this is kind of the like basic thing as well. And then actually, I would bet that, what's the easiest way to test this? I would bet that if we, for instance, pasted this, it's a lot more compact in some of these. So yeah, I think I kind of was saving this to do in a recorded video rather than, I don't know, doing it last night or something. But since I've done a lot of the work in the italic already, just to sort of figure out what I wanted to do, which is work that is hard to talk during, sort of, I might just copy some of these, from the italic and then correct them. We will see. So first I need to see, do I have the case variants of these things yet? I don't think so. Yeah. Okay, no, I haven't yet duplicated them. So I'll do that. Gonna go over to, oh, okay, oops. All right. So I'm gonna go over to these marks and duplicate them all with Command D, and then that makes them disappear, which is funny because I was filtering into the Vietnamese. All right, so now I have a bunch of 001, and I believe it's these. And then there's actually a rename script that I'll probably use here. Oh yeah, so, all right. Okay, copy glyph names, 1 per line. And I'm gonna pop over to VS Code here so I can do this a little more quickly. Multi-select is amazing. So I want to copy that, equals that, but I want it to equal case. So I think this is the flow, old name, new name. Okay. All right, there we go. Now they are adjusted. Okay, so here they are. Oh yeah, obviously I haven't. But I don't actually want to start with these. That's funny. I want to start with the case versions so I get the better alignment and the better bases. Okay. Let's do this again. And I'll overwrite these. I don't think I have the I didn't even bother saving these because it was very quick. So multi-select for the win. There's a bunch of various selections you can do in VS Code. It's great. I'm not going to make a video on that right now. But it makes it really fast to create recipes like this. And I think this recipe will be good. Let's find out. So Control-Shift-G to add glyphs. I'm going to, yes, I want to replace these. All right, so that's a lot closer to what I actually want, which is pretty nice. And it's in both sources already. And then we can just kind of, maybe I'll copy these over to the italic. Get this on the right side. All right. So first of all, I want to make sure I have the same alignment. Okay. I guess I have decomposed everything. Probably just to make sure it's really... I think I like figured out what I wanted, and then I decomposed it so that even if I change the general case circumflex, I don't have to like worry about maybe the Vietnamese getting out of sync. I feel like they're already pretty good, so like even if I tweak something, the bigger risk is that I would disrupt the Vietnamese and then not catch that. All right, so honestly, that's pretty good already. This might be a faster video than I realized. Decompose, yeah. And then let's do it to the other one as well. And I'm trying to pretty much match the distance. I don't know. Hard to really say, but it looks pretty good. All right, and then let's decompose this. All right, the first transport is away. All right, and let's do that over here as well. I'll change this to my normal italic slant because I'm not trying to rotate anything or whatever else. One of my favorite things in glyphs is being able to go to a background layer, Command B, and then add a component here. It's incredible because then you can like quickly make sure things actually align. And yeah, so cool. And if I was to change this, the background over here, I'll just make a really obvious change. That changes. So, wow. I would love if RoboFont had that specific feature. There are features that RoboFont has that I would love glyphs to have. So, you know, both have their strengths. Oops, I might as well. It's always a hard thing to know, like, do I go character by character or source by source, like weight by weight? I don't know. Maybe it doesn't actually matter too much. Add a component. Yeah, we want that one. Thank you. That's kind of fun that it's like basically completely vertical there. Happy accident, I guess. Okay. Funny that it's a little higher than I would expect it to be, actually. That's interesting. I guess I wanted to balance out the weight of things. Yeah, okay. But is it higher than it needs to be? Suddenly I'm filled with doubt. I see. I do make it narrower, so maybe making it a little taller does help it to have the same amount of presence as the circumflex. All right, so I'll keep it for now. Maybe I'll change it later. Another thing I really love that Glyphs does is I can press Alt-Command-R to rerun. Oh, well, okay. Didn't actually want that script. Usually it's helpful to rerun the last script. So like if I go over here, now I can rerun that vertical guide script and I get the vertical guide immediately that I want, which is pretty nice. Okay. Maybe I'll just do them both at the same time, see how that works. Pretty well. For the most part. I guess there's an optical adjustment in the italic. So I won't, oops. Alright, another thing RoboFont has that I love is the ability to hold Command and click near a thing, and that selects the thing, the contour. It's pretty nice. That was helpful to align it, I think, in a similar way. I wonder if there's probably a shortcut hotkey to like decompose the selected component. There's hotkeys for kind of everything, but I don't want to look that up immediately. But if you know, tell me in the comments. All right. Ooh, I do want this to kind of line up, sort of. I think it's nice if this bowl or these two bowls kind of line up in a way. So maybe I'll slightly tweak this. And I like to reflect that in my tilde. Is it quite reflected? Seems a little unreflected. All right, so a thing I like to do in a tilde that's kind of cool is you can like select half of it and then do Option Delete. This works in RoboFont and Glyphs, and then you rotate it by 180, and then suddenly you can reconnect it, and boom, you've got a tilde that's very symmetrical, and that's really nice because like it's kind of hard to draw this shape, so sometimes it's nice to get the curve just right on one side, and then you can just reflect that, and it's perfectly symmetrical. The other thing I sometimes do is like grab these 2 points and kind of use the transform box to move them in a symmetrical way. I don't know, it's not flawless, but it's pretty good. And is this the same? All right. So this is decomposed. I think all of the tops here were decomposed. Nope, I guess those are fine. All right. I mean, I do disable automatic alignment so that I can kind of align them to the top here. I always think of this as like a bowl of like delicious guacamole or something, and this is a chip that's dipping in. I don't know if that's okay to say, or if that's like, but yeah, this is how the mind works. You know, type designers are always seeing like weird elf feet or whatever in their letter forms. Might have to tweak this one a little bit as well. Oh, and one thing I've done in the italic already is also reflect reflect the reverse contrast tilde with a reverse contrast breve. And I think that's kind of a nice thing to, if you do something weird, do it weird twice, at least. You know, do it weird in related places. Okay, so I clearly haven't yet done that here, so maybe I will start with the italic, maybe in the background, just so I can get a similar level of contrast. I feel like I keep like clicking on a glyph and getting like catapulted out to like the middle of it somehow, which is kind of annoying. All right. Yeah, okay, that curve looks pretty good. Let's do it here as well. It's kind of interesting to see the italic compensations kind of at work. Like if we look at this, it's not quite symmetrical once I've unslanted it, because I had to make it not quite symmetrical to sort of look basically right in an italic style, like with a slant. Italic slant is never just slanted. It always needs some adjustments to correct for the sort of weird optical stuff that's happening. And I'm never like 100% satisfied with those optical corrections, but yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, so now that I've got, let's go to the not background layer. That's just the breve. Okay. Now that I've got these kind of tweaked in the ways that I want them to be, I can finally recreate my Vietnamese uppercase accented characters, and they will look better. So what's the best way? Well, I forget. Some of the things that Glyphs does are really awesome in that like it just guesses. You don't always have to write recipes to make things work really well. So let me try that, for instance. Here's an obvious one. Let's copy a breve tilde and command delete it. Remove, yes, please. And see if it builds with the case version. Oh, see, it did. That is pretty sweet. So I can just go ahead and like copy all of these names. Oops. Wait. Hold your horses. I don't want to copy the decroat because I think that has... no, it's fine. Whatever. Let's see. Let me save this. I'll make a git commit to kind of cover my ass in case it goes wrong. Let's see. Finesse, Roman, Vietnamese, double accents in Roman, or the upright style. So now if this goes wrong, I can just backtrack to that. And then I can right click. Yeah, generate them all, please. Ha! It went wrong. Oh, because I deleted the O horn. Alright, that was really clever of me. Alright, well, let's see. Let's not save those changes. And open recent. Come on, don't be saved. But if they are saved, I can always... They're not saved. It would show up in my Git view there. Okay. Phew. So let's be slightly more selective here. I don't want to delete the U horn or the O horn because these are specifically drawn. I'll also avoid that one because why redo it? All right. So copy glyph names. There might even be... Oh, I don't even need to copy these glyph names. Okay. I was just about to say there might be an easier way. And sure enough, there is. You just right-click this and then generate. Cool. Now those all have the finessed stacked accents, which is pretty cool. I do notice that my O horn tilde is bumping into itself over here. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, yeah, I just nudged it over. I just made this one not automatically align, and I just nudged it a little bit. Disable automatic alignment. And did I also scale it? I think I did. That'll automatically get decomposed in my build, but yeah. Doesn't need to be... Doesn't necessarily need to be decomposed here. I do want to scale both sources. Maybe to about the same amount, because that will allow it to be caught by the build process and decomposed. If only one of them is scaled, I think it might be decomposed in the first part of the build process, but then the other part that actually interpolates would say oh, these aren't interpolatable. So thus my caution. Are these at the same height? This one seems a little higher. I also boosted it up a little bit. Well, I don't want that actually. Huh. Okay. I probably boosted it up by 10. Easy enough to check. Okay, yep. All right, now that is looking good. Cool. So I think, I'll still have to do a bit of proofing and testing, maybe get some feedback on it, but I'm liking this Vietnamese uppercase a lot. And the general accent system, I think, is working fairly nicely. Oh, well, I don't know that I'll record this. It'll be the very, very similar process. I see actually that I haven't yet finessed the lowercase accents just yet. So over here, you can see that I'm also putting the acute up and to the right of the circumflex. And probably, yeah, I've messed with the alignment a little bit there. Yeah, so I'll do that next here to have all of the accents working just how I want them to, but it would feel really redundant to do it again and to talk through it again. So hopefully if you like watching the process of type design, this was entertaining in some way, and hopefully if you have a desire to make Vietnamese characters, this was helpful in some way to you. Feel free to ask questions to me if you have them. I like helping people out, especially if they've got new questions. So yeah, best of luck with whatever you're working on. Thanks.